Hello everyone, I hope you're well. I'm going to be sharing with you a class that I did in my free Discord. By the way, I'm doing classes every Sunday if you'd like to join. Just a quick disclaimer before we start. I will never DM you first. I will never friend request you. The only way to apply to get mentored by me is through the link in the description. That's it. Do not get scammed. Enjoy the video, guys. I previously recorded a YouTube video talking about how to go from $0 to $10,000 as quickly as possible. And the question that I was asked mainly was how to build the systems and processes that would, or what are the systems and processes that would lower the amount of time that it would take me to go from $0 to $10,000 if I were to start all over again. I identified a few systems and processes. I've identified the first system was a verification system, which is the one that I explained in the YouTube video. And the second system that I highlighted was emotion-free systems. We will be talking about them today. And then we also highlighted which are things that we are going to be talking about in the next classes. Dumb trading, forecasting systems. By the way, the class for forecasting systems is going to be interesting. I believe forecasting systems is one of the things that really helped me in my trading career. And then 5, backtesting versus live trading, basically when to do it, how to do it, and all that. Now, the thing that we already spoke about is verification systems in the YouTube video. Today we're going to be talking about emotion-free systems, basically. Let's talk about first, what are emotion-free systems? Now guys, the thing that holds the majority of traders from making it towards profitability is emotions. That's it. You see a trade, for example, and that trade is running, and you decide to interfere with it. You decide to remove your stop loss. You decide to remove your TP. Or you see a good trade and you decide you don't want to take it because you feel like it's going to go bad. Or you see a bad trade, but you still convince yourself to take it, even though you shouldn't take it, just because you want to be in a trade, for example. So there's, as you can see, there's a lot of emotions that usually traders struggle with. Usually people think that they need to, let's say, develop a certain willpower or develop certain mental strength or develop a certain psychology in order to beat those emotional problems. Now, the way that I do it is a little bit different. The way that I do it is I build systems that would help me not have to face this emotion to begin with. Bypassed me having to build sheer willpower, and I just created a system that would make it easier for me to not eat desserts anymore without having to build a mental strength. Now, as I said, I divide my students into 3 different categories. The first category is the thinker. So this is the first emotional trader. The second category is the overtrader, obviously. And the third category, which is something that not a lot of people talk about, which is the undertrader. So there's people who overtrade and there's people who undertrade. So we're going to talk about that as well. Now, my goal is to resolve the problems for the overtrader, for the undertrader, and for the thinker without having to push them into building mental strength, because that takes a lot of time to do. You need some time to build that mental strength. So my goal is to find systems that would solve these problems without them having to basically throw their brains out and bring another brain and put it in their heads. So let's talk about the thinker first. Who is the thinker? Who's the overtrader? And who is the undertrader? The thinker is the guy that interferes with his trades. So any person that interferes with their trades are a thinker. You take a trade right now, you place your stop loss here, you place your TP here. The market is running and you look at the trade and you start thinking. You're like, you know what? This could potentially reverse. The market can potentially make it down. And as a result of you thinking over and over again about this trade, eventually you're like, okay, you know what? Let me trail my SL to BE, or let me close this trade, or let me do that. That happens as a result of you thinking, right? Now, the other thinker is, for example, let's say the market is coming back in the opposite direction and you have your stop loss here. You look at it and you're like, you know what? The market can maybe just go down and then come back in my direction. And therefore, I might as well move my stop loss from here and place it there. Just basically catch it and trail it and place it over there. And then maybe the market will come down. So that also happens as a result of you thinking. The problem with the thinker is that they usually believe, like for example, let's say, this is what happens. I'm going to explain to you a step-by-step approach on what happens in the brain of a thinker. So they're about to take a trade right now. Okay, this is the entry, this is the TP. and they're wondering where to place the SL. The thinker is like, should I place my SL right here or should I place my SL right there? Okay, 1 or 2. The market then, the thinker, let's say, decides that he wants to place his SL right there. So he places his SL right here. As the market is coming down, he's like, oh my God, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have placed my stop loss here. Now let me remove that stop loss, increase its size, and place it right here in the middle of my trade. The market continues going down, and he's like, oh my God, I made a mistake. I should have kept my stop loss up there because now I'm going to lose more. And now he feels ashamed that he took that decision. So he's like, okay, you know what? Let me just completely remove that stop loss and see what happens. And eventually that leads, of course, to disasters in your trading career. Now, the majority of traders, let me just first, before I say this, let me explain another scenario for the thinker. The thinker will place a trade, which I just explained, by the way, when I was giving examples. But the thinker would place a trade and he would place a TP, let's say right there. As the market is running in the thinker's direction, the thinker will look at price and he'll be like, does that price action indicate that the market can now reverse? Maybe it can reverse from here because the market is creating this price action. Will the market reverse after creating this price action on me and just take me out? Okay, you know what? That can potentially happen. So he also asked himself 2 questions. He said, should I remove my SL and bring it to BE? Or should I just maybe keep it wherever it is? And as a result of that thinking, so should he do 1 right here, bring it, or should he keep it? Those 2 choices were offered. Now, as those 2 choices are offered right here, the thinker gets confused and he's like, okay, you know what? This price action might reverse. Let me trail my SL to BE. The market then comes back to his BE, taps him out, and then goes to his TP level, to which he's like, okay, I shouldn't have trailed my SL to my BE. Now, the problem with thinkers is that they believe that the solution is to stop interfering with their trades. If I haven't removed my stop loss from here to here, then I wouldn't have lost more. If I haven't removed my stop loss from here to here, then I wouldn't have been BE'd. So they think that the problem that is happening with their trades is that they are interfering with their trades, and therefore they think that the solution, I need to build enough discipline and mental strength to never interfere with my trade again. This is what they believe the solution to their problem is. Now, the wrong thing that is happening here is that the problem, this is what the thinker thinks. He thinks that the problem is I interfered with my trade. The actual problem, guys, so actual problem, being confused on what is, I will explain this, of course, on what is the best case scenario. So the problem, the thinker thinks that the problem is that he removed his stop loss from here to here. The problem actually is, guys, that the thinker asked himself, is this stop loss better or is this stop loss better as he is trading? So the problem of the thinker is that he thinks. That's it mainly, is that he uses his brain inside of his trading session. Right here, when price was creating this price action right here, the thinker stopped and was like, okay, does this price action mean that the market is going to come back in the opposite direction? And he started thinking about this. Now, my question is always, why are you thinking about this in the middle of your trading session? That should be a question that is answered beforehand. Is this the best stop loss or is this the best stop loss? That question should be answered before you come to your trading session. If you are confused on what you should be doing inside of your trading session, it means you're doing trading wrong. If you look at certain price action and you're like, okay, does this usually reverse on me or does it not? And you start thinking about it, the problem isn't that you interfere with your trades. The problem is you are confused on what is the best case scenario to do here. For me personally, let's take that first case scenario right there. I would take the first stop loss and I would take 100 trades with it. I would test it. And me taking 100 trades with that stop loss would generate a certain PNL. And I will take the second stop loss and I will test it 100 times again for the second stop loss. And this also will generate a certain PNL. I will compare those two PNLs together, and let's say this one is higher than this one. As a result of this one being higher than this one, I'll be like, okay, you know what? This stop loss right here is the best choice, not this one. So I will no longer have to think about it. I will no longer have to be in a trading session and be like, okay, is this stop loss better or is that stop loss better? I no longer have to think about this because I already have the answers, and as a result of me not having to think, I will no longer have to interfere. The reason why you're interfering is because you don't know what the right answer is, and as a result of you not knowing what the right answer is, you assume that you made the wrong choice, that you made the wrong answer, and that the right answer was the other thing. So you shift plans. That's it. So right here, you placed your stop loss right here, and you took this trade right there, and you placed your TP right here. The market gave you this price action right here. It told you, okay, this is the price action that is being offered right now. You looked at this trade and you were like, okay, does that mean that price is about to get to reverse on me? And you thought about this question and you don't have a definitive answer because you didn't take this price action and test it 100 times in order to decide, does the market usually reverse after creating such price actions or not? And because you don't have this answer, this definitive answer, you think about it inside of your trading session and you get confused inside of your trading session, and as a result you make the wrong choices because you're confused and there's like, should I trail my SL or should I not? 50-50. Should I do this or should I do that? If you trail your SL to BE and it just taps you out and goes, you regret it. If you don't and it comes back to your SL, you regret it. And therefore, the problem is not that you're interfering with your trades. The problem is that you are confused. That confusion is pushing you towards interfering with your trades because you have no right answer. That's it. If I don't know what I should do, then I'm going to do fuck all, obviously. And therefore, if you know exactly what you should do, then you're just going to not do fuck all. So if I'm right now in a trade, as I said, and I'm confused about stop loss 1 or stop loss 2, and the market is coming back to my stop loss, I will not be like, okay, you know what? Let me just change my answer. First, my answer was, let me choose stop loss 1. Right now, I will change my answer to stop loss 2. Why? Because you're confused. You're not confident. When you made that answer, you weren't confident. And therefore, the market coming back to your stop loss right here is further proven to you that, okay, you made that answer out of nothing, you pulled it out of your ass, you weren't confident about it, and right now you're like, okay, maybe, okay, I'm wrong. Let me just place it here. So the reason why you think you're wrong, it's because you don't have anything to prove that you are right. That's it. Right here, for example, as I said, I would have backtested data for this, 100, and backtested data for that, 100. And then as the market is at least 100, by the way. I'm using 100 as a benchmark because I know that some people just rely on their past 3 to 4 trades to take decisions, which is obviously wrong. But 100 is the minimum, okay? Now the market is coming back to that SL. You're like, okay, oh my God, I made the wrong choice. I should have placed it below here. So let me just trail it. And you're like, no, I didn't make the right choice. Here it is. I have documents that say that this is the best choice. Now this lack of confusion will make you stick to your decisions because you know for sure you have proven data on what the right decision is. I always give this example and I will give it to you guys. Let's say I have a box. Okay? And this, by the way, will also lower down the amount of emotional things that you feel. And inside this box, there's some balls. Okay, and let's say there's 7 red balls and there's 3 black balls. Okay? And I tell you, if you put your hand, you have to close your eyes and you have to put your hand in the bucket. And if you pull a red ball, you make $100. And if you pull a black ball, you lose $100. And then I ask you, do you wanna play this game? And you're like, okay, you look at it, you're like, okay, there's 7 Red Bulls. The chances of me winning are 70%. And the chances of me pulling a black bull is 30%. And therefore, yes, I will of course play this game because there's a 70% chance I end up winning $100. So I want to play this game. Now let's say you put your hand in the bucket and you pull a black bull and you lose $100. Now, will you look at the situation and be like, and let me say, for example, I tell you, you can play again. So you can return the black ball in the box and play again. Okay, so you pull the first black ball and you got minus $100. Will you play again? Will you regret your decision? Will you be like, oh my god, I shouldn't have played this game. I just lost $100 because I lost this game. Or will you say, no, I made the right choice because I have the data to prove that it's the right choice. There's a 70% chance I end up winning. And therefore I made the right choice. Just luckily, I pulled a black bull. Happens. I lost $100. Now I go ahead and I ask you, do you want to play again? Do you change your strategy? Are you like, no, I don't want to play again. This time I will protect my money. No, you will play again. The reason why you'll play again, because the numbers still say the same shit. They still say that if you play this game again, there's a huge chance, there's a 70% chance that you're going to win. So if you play this game 100 times, you're going to win 70 out of 100 times. You're going to make a lot of money. And therefore you will play it again the same way. You will not change your strategy. You will not change your answer, guys. You will not change it. You will keep the same answer over and over and over again. Why? Because numbers say so. So it's the same thing. If my numbers are telling me that the first stop loss is the better stop loss, and I place my SL right here, and the market is about to hit my stop loss, or let's say it hits it, the next time I take a trade, and you ask me, Roy, do you want to place your stop loss here, or do you want to place it there? I'll say here, again. I'll do the same thing again. I want to play again. I have the same answer. I will not change it. Why? Because I have the data. I have the statistics. I am not confused. You not being confused will make you stick to your decisions and not just interfere and run all over the place. Okay? So the first thing that you need to do right now is if you're confused, if you do something, let's say some people tell me, Roy, whenever I'm in a trade, I just have this thing, I get very greedy. Let's say I take a trade right here and I place my TP right there and the market is running in my direction. I get very greedy. I remove my TP and I place it over there. Roy, how to be less greedy? And I'm like, who told you that your problem is greed? It is not greed. I am greedy. I want to make the most money I can possibly make in this industry. I am greedy. However, my greed is proven. What I mean by that is the reason why I don't place my take profit right there and I instead place it right here. It's not because I'm not greedy. It is not because I don't want to make this additional money right here. It is because I have tested this TP 100 times and I have tested this TP 100 times and I see from my data that this TP right there will be less profitable, than this TP right there. So I am greedy. I want to make more money. I chose the TP that will make me the most money as a result of my tests. So your problem is not greed. I am greedy. I'm saying it. You are not, it's not, oh, how can I just be less greedy? How can I convince myself that I don't need to make enough money? I don't need to make much money. How do I convince myself to do that? That is not the problem. You don't need to sit there and convince yourself that you don't need to make enough money and you need to be grateful and accept the profits that the market offers you and just take whatever and stop being greedy. No, of course not, because otherwise the solution can be take profits right here, which of course is not a solution. So it is not about don't be greedy. It's about be greedy, but long term. I am long term greedy, not short term greedy. What I mean by that is this TP over time, over the next 100 trades, will generate me more money than this TP right here. Yes, for the trade that I'm currently in, if I increase my TP size, I might make more money. For the trade that I'm currently in. But over 100 trades from my tested data, I know that this TP will generate me a lot more money than this TP right there. And therefore, since I know this answer for sure, and I am greedy and I want to make the most money I can possibly make, why the fuck would I place my TP right there? Why the fuck would I increase my TP size knowing that this one will generate me the most money over time? I want to make the most money, so I place it right here. So as I said, the reason why you interfere with your trades and you remove SLs and you remove TPs and you trail your SL to BE and all that when you shouldn't be doing that, it's because you don't have a definitive answer. So you're confused. You don't know if that's the right TP or that one. So as the market is coming back, you're like, okay, I don't know. Is that the right one or is that the right one? So let me just, you know what? I might be wrong. Let me just trail it and put it here. But if you have tested data and you have numbers, you'll be like, the same as the bulls example. You'll be like, no, I wasn't wrong to play the game. I wasn't wrong to put my hand in the bucket and pull a black bull. That is not a wrong decision. It was a 30% chance that I'm about to lose. So I made the right choice. And I want to play again. I want to do it again the same way, even though I lost. Why? Because data tells me that if I do it enough times, if I do it 100 times, in the ball example, I will be winning 70 out of those 100 times. So I will do it 100 times, even though I just lost right now. Why am I so confident? Because numbers are making me confident. So therefore, generate numbers, test and generate numbers, and those numbers will tell you what you should be doing. And as a result of those numbers telling you what you should be doing, your confusion will decrease. And as a result of your confusion decreasing, you will no longer interfere with your trades because you know what the right answer is. Placing your TP here will generate you less money than placing your TP there. So it doesn't make sense that you do it. You will not be confused. Alright, so test everything that right now is making you interfere with your trades. Whether that's a prolonged stop loss, whether that's an increased TP, whether that's you get scared and you close your trade. So also another thing, okay, about the thinker or the guy that interferes. Market is running and it starts creating consolidating price. Majority of traders are like consolidating price. Okay, you know what? I want out, and they exit the trade. So they saw it, they thought, they got afraid, and they interfered. And I'm like, okay, I don't know if that's the right choice or not. Maybe that's the right choice for your strategy. The problem is that you don't know what's the right choice. You're making a decision based on what you believe might be true, which is, of course, not a great way to trade. A great way to trade is I take this price action right here and I go and I test it. I accumulate data, 100 trades, and I verify for every trade that I take in which the market consolidates, does it tend to go to my TP next or does it tend to go to my SL next? What happens next? Maybe if I test it, I will verify that the majority of times the market will go to my TP, let's say, so I will be more profitable just leaving this trade on instead of exiting. Now I have an answer. So when I see this, I am no longer afraid because I have a number that generates an answer that decreases confusion, and as a result of decreased confusion, I don't need to interfere with my trades again and again and again. So this is the thinker. Do you guys understand the thinker? Do you have any questions about him? We will talk about the overtrader and the undertrader next. So all good for the thinker? Please let me know in the chat. All good. All good. Okay. Please, will this be... I'm recording this. I'm recording this. Yes. All good. Okay. Good, good, good. So this is for the thinker, for the guy that interferes with every trade that he takes. The solution is not to stop interfering and mentally convince yourself that, oh my God, I should just like build huge brain power to stop interfering. No, the solution is to generate numbers that will decrease the amount of confusion that you feel. And as a result of decreased confusion, you will go ahead and become a much better trader because you will no longer need to interfere because you know that the best course of action is to do something. And you know this based on the numbers that you have generated. So this is for the thinker. Now let's go back and talk about the overtrader. Now, of course, you guys all know what an overtrader is. An overtrader is a person that basically trades. So the thing about overtrading, let's just talk about it for a while. The thing about overtrading is that the majority of people think that overtrading is trading for a lot of time. So basically it's trading for more time than you should be trading. So this is how people think about it. Like if my trading session is 1 hour and I trade for 2 hours or whatever, let's say I trade for 5 hours, then I overtraded because I'm trading for a lot of time. Overtrading is not bound by time. It is not defined by how much time have you traded. It doesn't work like this. Overtrading is simply one thing. Let's say I trade for 1 hour, okay? And my system, okay, this is my system, it generates 2 trades. So it tells me buy your USD and sell Bitcoin, for example. And in that 1 hour, what I did is I bought your USD and I sold Bitcoin and I bought GBP USD. So that means that I overtraded by 1 trade compared to what my system generated. So overtrading is how many trades you take in addition to whatever your system outputted. This is overtrading. My first trade can be an overtrade. So it's not bound by time. If my system right now, if I go to the charts and my system tells me there is no trades for the day and I take 1 trade, that means that I overtraded by 1 trade. So overtrading is not bound by time. It is not, okay, you either trade for 1 hour or 2 hours or, okay, 3 hours, now you're overtrading. 3 hours and 6 minutes, you overtraded by 6 minutes. No, it is not bound by time. It is bound by comparing the number of trades that you ended up taking with the number of trades that your system generated. That's overtrading. All right? So, as I said, your first trade can be an overtrade, and this is very important because of the thing that I'm going to say next. Let me check for what overtrading is. So overtraders, I basically divide them into multiple sectors. So an overtrader can overtrade in many different ways. Now, the first overtrader, this is what ends up happening. A question that I'm usually asked is, some people will come to me and it will be like, Roy, there's a setup in the afternoon and I usually trade in the morning and I'm missing that setup in the afternoon. How do you just trade for 1 hour in the morning? Or whenever I say like, I trade for 1 hour or I trade for 40 minutes or I trade for 30 minutes every morning, people are like, yeah, but Roy, there's so many setups that happen in the afternoon. Do you just leave them alone? Like, do you not benefit from them? How do you not benefit from them? How do you accept, and this is like one question that I've been asked as well, which is, how do I accept the fact that I'm going to miss out on a setup that is going to happen later and I'm not going to be in front of the charts to take it? Like, there's money to be made in 3-4 hours, but instead I'm going to be at the gym, or I'm going to be with family members, or I'm going to be attending a family function, or with friends, or with my wife, or whatever it might be. So how do I accept the fact that there is going to be a trade in the afternoon and just basically leave it and not take it? And here's the thing. The first overtrader, this is what happens. Let's say your system right now, you trade every day at 10 a.m. You start trading at 10 a.m. And you usually find one setup at 10 a.m. Now, you leave the charts. You come back the next day and you're like, you look at the charts and you're like, oh my God, there was a trade that happened at 1 p.m. but I missed out on it. If I just waited until 1 p.m., I could have taken it and I could have made more money. Same thing happens the next day. Let's say you come back at 10 a.m., you take 2 trades, and then at 6 p.m., another trade is offered. But of course, you're at the gym, you're with family, you're with your wife, with your husband, whatever it might be, and there was a trade generated there, but you didn't take it because you were doing something else. So you come back the next day and you're like, oh my God, if I just waited in front of the charts, if I just was at the charts at 6 p.m., then I would have made a lot of money. So what the overtrader decides then is he says, you know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to just sit in front of the charts and wait. So from 10 a.m. all the way to whatever, let's say 7 p.m. I'm going to do it like a full-time job. I'm just going to sit there all day so I can catch every single setup that gets thrown in my timeline, and I can take it and I can benefit from it and I can make more money. So right here as well, 6 p.m., you decide, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to sit all day in front of the charts. Now, what ends up happening, and this is the problem, is that when you sit that long in front of the charts, what ends up happening is this timeline right here. Let's say the first trade you took at 10 a.m., you have right here, you have 11, 12, and 1. So you have 3 hours. And right here, you have 8 hours. All right? In this 3 hours or in this 8 hours, there is no way you don't get infinitely bored to the point where you get frustrated from watching candlesticks go up and down and you don't intervene and do something stupid on the charts. There is no way that you just sit there and you get like infinitely bored without doing something. I would do. I've been trading for 10 years. Right now, sit me in front of the charts for 5-6 hours, waiting for my setup to show up. I will get eventually very bored, and I'll just be like, okay, you know what? There's this trade. It's not very good, but it's like you'll see me get into this convincing process. Like, okay, it's you know what? It's not a good trade, but I can take it and all that, no problem. You'll convince yourself in this time that you have here to take unnecessary trades because you're infinitely bored. So eventually what the overtrader does is he adds more trades that he shouldn't be adding there. Now why is that a problem? The thing is, what you're doing by waiting for that 1 p.m. for that one profitable trade that will happen in the afternoon, you're incurring a lot of losses right here. So let's say this was a positive trade and this was a positive trade. You're incurring a lot of losses here from boredom trading. So eventually, when you get to that 1 p.m. trade and you end up taking it, it's ruined. It's fucked. You took a lot of losses up until that point. So when people look at a trade and they're like, oh my God, there was a trade at 7 p.m. yesterday that I didn't take and I should have sat all day in front of the charts to take it. No, that wouldn't have happened. You would have sat in front of the charts all day. You would have emotionally traded out of boredom, out of watching candlesticks go up and down. And eventually that 7 p.m. trade, you would have taken it as well. You would have won that 7 p.m. trade as you imagined. But what you don't imagine is the losses that you will be taking before that 1 p.m., that 6 p.m., that 7 p.m. trade that is going to just ruin that trade for you. So you just waited the whole day just to eventually, like right here, you didn't even make money. So you waited the whole day for nothing. Right here is the same thing. Let's say you took a profitable trade here and then a negative trade. Okay, and you're waiting for that afternoon positive trade, that great setup that might be offered in the afternoon time. And you're waiting for that whole time. Inside that whole time of waiting, you will enter those boredom trades. And eventually, boom. You will, of course, some of those boredom trades by accident will be profitable, but the majority of the times it's going to be some really bad shit is going to be happening here. Because when you take a boredom trade, let's say I take an entry as LTP just because I was bored from waiting and the market goes in the opposite direction, the majority of people, for example, will remove their stop loss or will do weird shit on the charts because they understand that they're fucking up. They understand that if they lose, if the market hits their SL, it just hit their SL because they were bored. And therefore they try not to face that emotion. And they try not to face that emotion by simply like removing the stop loss and waiting for the market to come back here. Maybe they'll be profitable there. Maybe they'll close a profitable trade there. So anyway, it's not the point. The point is, as you're waiting for a setup that is going to happen in the afternoon, you are going to overtrade because of boredom. And as a result of that boredom, like you're going to lose, let's say 2 trades because of boredom, then you're going to revenge to try to make it back because you shouldn't have done that. And all that. It will be just really bad shit in the afternoon right here, just before your positive setup. And therefore, by waiting all day in front of the charts, you don't just get the positive setup that is going to come in the afternoon that you're so afraid to miss out on. You're going to get all the boredom trades before it that is going to just tank your profitability to the point where that afternoon trade wouldn't give you any profits. You wouldn't benefit from it. So waiting all day on the charts is a losing game. Even if you're going to miss out on a setup, the way that I do it is I would sacrifice this 6 p.m. and this 1 p.m. trade. I don't want to take it. I will not take it. I will not wait for it. I will not look at the charts so I can sacrifice the boredom trades that come before it. So how do I stop my overtrader? Let's say there's multiple personalities that live in me. How do I stop my overtrader? By prohibiting him from sitting all day in front of the charts waiting for the next positive setup. This is one way to do it. I explained to you in the beginning of the meeting, guys, that if you don't want to eat desserts, remove dessert from your house. Because then there's like 3-4 steps for you to eat dessert. You will get lazy, you will not do it. Same thing right here. When you remove dessert, when you remove the charts from in front of you, you will not overtrade you because you're not in front of the charts. So it's a very silly solution, but the majority of people don't want to do it because they believe, no, I want to get that afternoon trade. I want to get that afternoon setup. In the next 3 to 4 hours, there must be a setup that gets presented to me. I really want to get it. I don't want to miss out on it. Missing out on it means I'm missing out on profits. I don't want that to happen, so I will wait for it. And as a result of that waiting, they overtrade. So the majority of traders think, how can I wait without overtrading? That is the question that they're trying to answer. How can I stop myself from overtrading? How can I wait for my next setup without overtrading? And I'm like, why the fuck are you waiting for your next setup? Take the trades, like come to the charts at a certain time, see what setups are available on the charts right now, take those and fucking bounce. Don't look at the charts again. Don't wait. It's not how do I wait and not overtrade. It's don't wait so you don't overtrade. Stop complicating it. Not everything needs to be about, okay, I will put the charts in front of me. This is how people think. I will put the charts in front of me. I'll put my monitor. I will watch the candlesticks for hours. And just through sheer willpower and mental strength, I will stop myself from getting into any boredom trade or any unnecessary trade that I shouldn't be taking. And I'm like, okay, you can build your mindset for years and suffer doing it. Or you can just say, okay, I look at the charts, I see a trade, I take it, I bounce. That afternoon trade, I really don't give a shit about it. I'm not going to wait and watch candlesticks go up and down and get bored to the point where I eventually take a boredom trade that I shouldn't be taking. Solution to overtrading is not waiting. It's not waiting and I want to wait and not overtrade. That is not the solution. The solution is I don't wait, so I don't overtrade. Okay? Much easier. Understood? Please tell me in the chat if everything is clear, guys. Okay, so, okay, good. So that's it for the overtrader. Now, the second thing for the overtrader that I want to say, because of course an overtrader doesn't just overtrade because he's waiting, he sometimes overtrades because, let's say, he took some losses. Right now I take a trade and I take a loss, and as a result of me taking that loss, I'm like, okay, you know what? I should make it back. So let me just take an additional trade. So the overtrader doesn't just happen because it's waiting. It's the overtrader is also the trader that trades when he takes some losses. So the thing with the overtrader, the problem with him, is that the overtrader will take a trade, place an SL, place a TP, and then he will sit there. It's the same basically thing for waiting. He will see what's happening for this trade because he wants to maybe actively manage it. Maybe you're a scalper or whatever, you're a day trader and you want to actively manage that trade. And he watches that trade come back and hit his stop loss. And as soon as it hits his stop loss, the overtrader will feel, no, any trader will feel an initial sensation of, like, you know, this pain, like your heart just pushes. I don't know what happens. Like you feel this small frustration when you lose. Like when you see the market hitting your SL, you get an initial emotion of frustration. As a result of that initial emotion of frustration, which by the way is the peak emotion that you will feel, I will explain that in a bit, the trader, the overtrader would go ahead and be like, okay, you know what? And let's say he sees right here there's a bullish candlestick. He's like, fuck, I was just triggered out and now the market is going to run in my direction. Let's say a second bullish candlestick as well. Okay, fuck, the market just triggered me out and it's now going to run to my TP. I'm going to enter again. They enter again, and then they lose that trade as well, which they're then, okay, I shouldn't have done that, I'm so stupid, I shouldn't have taken that next trade, why the fuck did I take it, I shouldn't have taken it, okay, you know what, let me try to make back that mistake that I did here by taking another trade to make it back, so I basically minus plus positive equals 0. So therefore, what a trader would do here is he would get into this revenge trading phase. Now here's the thing about emotions, guys. When something happens, okay, and this is in real life, this is in trading, this is in everything. When something just happens right now, okay, right now, whatever it is, someone says something to you or you lose a trade or whatever, the first emotion that you feel will be the peak emotion that you will feel. And then as time goes by, this emotion will start basically melting down to the point where at some point you're like, it doesn't even fucking matter. Okay? So it's the same thing when people are having an argument and then they say something, let's say, really mean and insulting in the heat of the moment, and then as time goes back, that initial frustration that they felt calms down and they're like, oh fuck, I shouldn't have said that. I said it in a moment of frustration. I shouldn't have done that. I should have waited instead of speaking now and waited for that frustration to calm down and then speak later. It's the same thing for trading. If you feel this peak frustration right now and you decide to speak now, aka you decide to trade now or to intervene now, then you're going to make wrong decisions. Now, if you wait until your emotions calm down and then you come here to trade, then those emotions are not going to affect any of the trades that you're going to be taking next. And therefore, emotions, when you, even positive emotions, by the way, even positive emotions. Right now, okay, my brother was traveling, okay, and he came, let's say, from his travels. When I first see him, I'm surprised. I'm happy, let's say he didn't tell me. I'm surprised, I'm happy, oh my god, it's very good to see you and all that. Let's say he decides to stay a month or two in the country. As time goes by, that initial surge of happy emotions and joy and all that, of course, you still love the people around you and you still feel excitement and joy to see them. And therefore, as time goes by, that initial joy that you feel right here starts melting down to a point where you're just used to their presence. That's what happens. So this initial surge of emotions right here just calms down later. That's it. In anything. Now we're speaking about trading, so I'm going to stay in that lane for now. So trading, same shit. Right here, I feel the surge of emotions. I just saw myself losing, and therefore right there, I am more susceptible to revenge trading, taking trades that I shouldn't be taking. What I do personally is I always figure my losses out in an area or at a time where I can't trade. Why? Because if I can't trade right here, if I find a way to prohibit myself from trading right there, then eventually my emotions will calm down. And when I can trade, let's say right there, I'll be very calm and I will not revenge trade. So the next trade that I will be taking will be a logical, calm trade because my emotions calm down. So all I need to do is I need to, and that is different by the way per person, guys. I need to figure out a system that right here stops me from trading. Like let's say something automatically generates and I get stopped from trading. I cannot trade right here when I'm at my peak emotions. And then I can only trade, let's say a few hours or a day later. And then when I can trade, my emotions have already calmed down. So I don't revenge trade or I don't do anything stupid that I shouldn't be doing. So right here on the charts, how do I stop myself, like me personally, from trading? Is as soon as I take a trade, okay, I get very busy. So as soon as I finish trading, I have, for example, a meeting with an investor of mine. Or after it, I have a meeting with a student of mine that I'm teaching. Or I have, like, I need to go to the gym or I need to attend a family function or I need to do anything. So the moment you get very busy right there, you're going to receive, let's say, a notification on your app that your stop loss was hit. You're going to know that you lost, but you can't do anything about it because you're doing other shit. you're taking care of other businesses, you are in the gym, you're attending a family function, you're doing something. All right, so you can't interfere with your trades. You can't do anything because you are doing something else. So it's physically impossible for you to interfere with your trades. So as a result of you being physically incapable of interfering with your trades, you will come back later once you finish doing your shit here. When you come back later, guess what? That initial surge of emotions right there has calmed down. So you will not be revenge trading when you come back later. Because emotions have calmed down, you will take a logical trade. Not only that, you will not be capable of revenge trading. Because remember, why did this guy revenge trade right here? Because he saw the market hit his stop loss and then he saw two bullish candlesticks right after his stop loss being hit. So he joined the price right there. But if he doesn't see that, let's say because he's working, he's not capable of doing anything, he's not capable of joining, the market then, let's say, runs, comes back, runs. So right here, he's not like, oh, okay, you know what? I'm going to, right here, I mean, he's not like, oh, okay, you know what? I'm going to revenge trade. He's not going to say this because it's done. Right here, you feel like you got stop lost and then the market is running in your direction. Right here, it's like, okay, like, there's a lot of candlesticks. You will not revenge trade right here. It's not like the initial emotion right there of the market is running in my direction. So eventually, anyway, the main point is that your emotions will calm down, and as a result of your emotions calming down, if you come back to the charts later, you will not revenge trade because you will be a lot calmer. So the first solution is to create a system, to create a routine in your day that would prohibit you from trading after a certain time. So my trading session is, let's say, 30 minutes. I find my setup. I spend 30 minutes, by the way, not trading and actively managing trades. I spend 30 minutes just basically finding my setups on the charts, comparing my instruments together and all that. I find my instruments, I take the trades, I walk away. It's physically impossible for me to interfere with a trade. I receive a notification that I lost, but I cannot do anything about it because the charts are not in front of me. I'm not seeing how I lost. For all I know, maybe the market just impulsed in the opposite direction. And therefore, I lost. I can't do anything about it. Maybe I feel a little bit of, frustration. And then by the time I come back the next day, I feel nothing. That initial surge of emotions calmed down and there is nothing for me to do. Now, after some time, because right now, guys, I can watch myself losing and I will not do anything about it. I will not revenge trade. Why? Because after sometimes your brain will learn that by not revenge trading, by not interfering with my trades, I maintain profitability. So your brain will learn that the best case scenario for you is not revenge trading. Like, you'll be a lot more profitable if you just don't touch your trades. And therefore he's like, okay, I don't need to touch my trades. I'm profitable. So I don't need to interfere. I don't need to touch them. And as a result of not having to touch them, or your brain learning that you don't have to touch them, you will not interfere with them. You can watch yourself lose and not interfere with them. But you have to first teach your brain that if you don't interfere with your trades, if you don't revenge trade, you will be a lot more profitable. And the way you teach it that is by getting so busy and not allowing it to do anything on the charts. And as a result, eventually it learns by seeing the results that you're getting on the charts. All right, so that's it. That's the second part for the overtrader. Understood, guys? Do you guys have any questions? Please let me know in the chat as well. Okay. Okay, so no questions. Let's go back and let's talk about the undertrader now. Now, the undertrader, of course, guys, is the trader that would look at a trade and the system is telling him to take that specific trade, but he will doubt it and he will not trade it. So basically, the undertrader is the exact opposite of the overtrader. Let's say you have your system tells you to take 2 trades, and this is you take 1 trade. So you traded 1 trade less than what your system told you, which means you undertraded. Let's say your system tells you to take 1 trade and you take none. Also means that you undertraded by One trade. Now, I want to say just one more thing about the overtrader. There's a guy that I call the zero trade overtrader. Now, the zero trade overtrader is the person that only overtrades when they have zero trades on the charts. So the zero trade overtrader is a person that would never overtrade unless he had zero trades on the charts. So if I wake up and I look at my charts and I have my system is telling me to take a trade or two, I don't mind that. That's totally fine by me. Okay, I take the trades and I walk away from the charts. Totally fine, all good. Now, the zero trade overtrader is a guy that when the system tells him there is no trades on the charts, he's like, oh, I want to be in a trade. I really want to be in a trade. I really want to take a trade. I really want to work. I want to do action. So the zero trade overtrader looks at the system and he's like, okay, you know what? There's no trades, but I really want to take a trade. I really feel like being in a trade. So he takes whatever trade exists, and therefore he overtrades by one trade or two always. So the zero trade overtrader has only one problem, which is when there is no trades on the charts, he doesn't know how to walk away. He looks at the charts and he's like, okay, you know what? There's zero trades, but I really want to be in a trade. I really feel like being in a trade. So he enters a trade. Now, the problem with the zero trade overtrader is that he believes, and I already talked about this in one of the videos that I posted, he believes that taking a trade is progress. Okay, that's the thing. He believes that I progress the most if I take the most trades. That's it. And if I have no trades for today, it means that I am not progressing. That is the problem with the zero trade overtrader. So the problem with the zero trade overtrader is that he believes that progress is action. That is the main. If I take action, it means I am progressing. If I don't take action, it means I am stagnating. I am doing nothing. I am not progressing. I am not accomplishing anything. And therefore that feels bad. And therefore to not feel bad, to combat this emotion, I go ahead and I take an unnecessary trade that I shouldn't be taking. That is the problem with the zero trade overtrader. Now, the thing that the zero trade overtrader needs to understand is he needs to understand that progress is not action. Progress is actually restraint. So if I look at the charts right now and I see no trades, but I feel like taking a trade and I don't do it regardless of how I feel, that is progress. Because restraining yourself from doing a bad thing is a lot harder than just doing something. Doing something is easy. Hitting the buy and sell button is easy. Stopping yourself from hitting the buy and sell button when you shouldn't be hitting it is hard. And since restraint is harder than action, it only makes sense that restraint is more progress than action. So in trading, restraint is progress. Stopping yourself from doing something that you shouldn't be doing, that is progress. I can measure my progress by saying, how many bad trades did I not take this week? And by looking at the bad trades that I avoided, I feel proud of myself. Because I'm like, okay, that is true progress. I saw 3 trades, all of them hit stop loss, and I decided not to take them. How many bad trades did I not take? This is profitability. So even when someone is building their trading career and they want to be profitable, how do you become profitable? How do you become a profitable trader, guys? You don't become a profitable trader by doing more right. You become a profitable trader by doing less wrong. I always say this. So instead of being like, okay, I want to be more profitable by doing more right, you be more profitable by doing less wrong. If I have right now on the charts, let's say in my trading journal, I have 3 wins and 5 losses, and as a result I am not profitable. So 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3, and as a result I'm not profitable, let's say with my risk to reward or whatever it is. What I can do to become profitable is not to bring in more trades from a different strategy, from another concept that will be profitable and I get more wins than losses. This is not the way to do it. The way to do it is to learn how to take less losses. So by eliminating 1 2 3 losses right there, then I have 3 wins and 2 losses. Now I'm profitable. So how do you reach profitability? By eliminating the wrong, not by adding the right. So profitability is through restraint, through stopping yourself from taking trades that you shouldn't be taking. That is profitability. And therefore for the zero trade overtrader, his problem is that he believes that progress is action when progress is restraint. It is not doing more right and taking more trades. It's doing less wrong and taking less bad trades. That's how you achieve profitability, and that's what the zero trade over trader needs to understand. Clear, guys? Let me know in the chat and let me know if you have any questions so far. Okay. All right. All right. Good, good. I see a hand raised. I don't know if that means anything. If the hand raised means that you want to ask a question, you can feel free. Okay, okay. So now let's talk about the undertrader. The undertrader is, as I just said, I explained it briefly, and then I went to talk about the zero trade over trader. So the undertrader is a guy that there's a trade in his system, but he decides he doesn't want to take it. Now that usually happens because of multiple reasons, but one of the main ones, is that it happens because the person doesn't trust the system after a streak of losses. That's usually when undertrading happens. Undertrading usually happens when someone takes, let's say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 losses in a row. They then come to the charts and they see a trade that their system is outputting. So they're like, okay, you know what? I just got 5 losses in a row. I really don't want to take this trade. I really don't trust the system now because I just took 5 losses, or I don't trust myself as a trader. Maybe I'm doing something wrong and therefore I don't want to take this trade, and they don't take this trade. That is called the undertrader. It's a trader that basically doubts his system, doubts his processes, and as a result decides not to trade even when his processes and systems are telling him to trade. Now here's my advice to the undertrader. Listen, guys, if your system is shit, if your process is shit, the only way to fix your shit system and your shit process is to take a bunch of trades, so to take more trades to the point where you have data and you can analyze this data and you can determine, why is my system shit? Why does my system suck? Why does my process suck? And as a result of determining the why, you can go ahead and eliminate it and make your system better. So, in other words, your system is shit, your process is shit. What is the solution? What do you want? Your system is shit, what do you want? You tell me, Roy, I want for my system to not be shit. I want for it to become better. How do you make your system better? By taking more trades, and then as a result of taking more trades, figuring out the why. Why does your system suck? Why is your process shit? What are the market conditions that are making your process shit? And as a result, you eliminate it and your system becomes better. So in order to make a shit system a good system, you need to trade more, right? And therefore, if you lose a bunch of trades and you're like, I doubt my process, I doubt my system, and therefore I'm not going to trade, that's counterintuitive, guys. That's fucked up. That's messed up. That's not the solution. That's counterintuitive. If you want to fix your system, you need to trade more to a point where you have data to look at so you can fix your system. That's the only way to fix your shit systems and processes. Not by doubting them and stopping trading. By stopping trading, you do nothing. You stagnate. That's it. You're like, okay, I stopped trading. Okay, now what? Now what? How do you move forward? You go watch YouTube? You listen to a podcast? No, you go ahead and you take more trades with that shit system so you can fix it. That's how you fix a shit system. So for all the under traders that don't trade because at some point they lost a bunch of trades and they're doubting their system, no, trade more. You're doing it wrong. You're fucking yourself up, basically. Trade more, learn why it's shit, and fix it. Not stop trading and contemplate the gods and maybe meditate a little bit, so maybe you receive an answer to why your system is shit. You receive the answer by trading, not by meditating, not by planning, not by watching YouTube videos, not by listening to podcasts. You receive your answer by trading more and figuring out, why does your system suck? That's it. The answer to doubt is action, not meditation. Okay? So That's when it comes to people who doubt their systems, that take a bunch of losses and then decide that they don't want to trade anymore as a result of them doubting the system and all that. Now, the second thing that I want to say as well, guys, is that there's some people who lose, let's say, and then as a result of them losing, they're like, I don't doubt the system, I don't doubt anything. I just want to take a break, let's say. That's also an undertrader. Okay, there's two hands raised. So I'm going to just quickly crypto kid heat. Do you have any question? As I was just saying right here, sometimes people lose and then they decide that they don't want to trade anymore because they just lost. So they want to take a break, not because they doubt the system, not because they doubt the process, not because of anything. They just don't want to trade. They feel like they need a break to come back and get in the right mentality. Guys, here's the thing. Every trading system has a losing phase, has a winning phase, and has a BE phase. The thing is, our trading systems, they alternate between those three phases in the market. Sometimes we are in a winning streak, sometimes we're losing, sometimes we're around BE. So let's say we're winning a bunch and we're losing a bunch. And so the trading systems go through phases. Now, if you are in a losing phase and you go through the losing phase and this losing phase is about to end right here, and you decide, okay, you know what, I'm going to take a break as a result of my losses, you might be taking a break in a winning phase, guys. And that's why I hate taking trading breaks when in a losing phase. If I'm taking like 5-6 losses in a row, and let's say I'm not just emotionally fucking up, let's say I'm actually trading well and I'm just in a losing streak, a systematic losing streak, then I think it's bad to take a break then for the undertrader, because that losing streak, if you already took 5 to 6 losses, it most probably is about to end. So it's either a BE phase that is going to start or a winning phase that is going to start. And as a result, when you take a break right here, you miss out on the winning phase, let's say, and you come back in a BE phase, and then guess what? A losing phase gets restarted right here. So you take your losing phase right here, then you go on a break in your winning phase, then you come back to a losing phase right there, and you feel like you're always losing, but the issue is every time you lose, you leave. That's it. And you come back when the next losing phase, let's say, is here. So you feel like you're always losing. However, you're not always losing. You just lose and take a break. And as a result of that break, you miss out on the wins. Then you come back when the losses come back. That's it. So you and the losses are coming back together and then leaving together and then coming back together. That's what happens to a lot of traders that I know. And one more thing that I want to say about this right here. Actually, no, is this it? Like losing phase, leave, come back. Yeah, I just want to talk about the risk. A lot of people also take 5 to 6, let's say, losing trades, and then they're like, okay, I want to diminish my risk right here. So I want to lower my risk. The problem also is with doing this is that the majority of traders will take the average normal risk in their losing phase. So right here, let's say you're risking 1% or 2%, whatever it might be. And then as soon as that losing phase is about to end, you're like, you know what? I'm going to start risking 0.5% because I'm in a losing streak. So what ends up happening is you get to this winning phase with a smaller risk. So of course, a smaller risk means smaller reward. So what happens here is that you're risking a lot more for your losses than you are risking for your wins, which is of course not a profitable business model. Okay, so this is also a mistake that a lot of traders are doing. Now, of course, I'm a little bit deviating from the topic of the webinar today. However, I'm just giving whatever information my head throws at me. So that's it. There was a question. So let me go ahead and see if that question is there. Please share. I will share it later. I analyzed my data for over a year and the max loss I take in a row is 6. I want to increase my risks from 0.5% to 1% per trade. What's your advice? And over the years, I've been made to believe that a trader needs confidence from his strategy and past data before increasing risk. How true is this? First of all, when it comes to increasing risk, you can. 6 trades in a row means 6%. You have to ask yourself if 6% is a risk, is a drawdown that you're willing to tolerate. That's number one. So let's say you're a trader that trades with an investor where 6% is a lot for him. So If you're like, I want to risk 1% and lose 6 trades in a row, that means you get to lose 6 trades in a row, 6%. Is that drawdown tolerable by you and by the investor that you're working with? That's number one. If you can tolerate this drawdown, if it's okay with you, then you can go ahead and risk 6%. Not even that, guys. I trade some personal accounts where I risk 4 or 5%. Even though I advise always with very low risk, but when it comes to my own personal accounts where I can tolerate a lot of risk, I risk a lot. I have no problem. If I take, let's say I'm risking 4% and I take 4 or 5 trades in a row, that's minus 20%. I know that's a lot, but since it's my personal account, then who gives a shit? Like, that account won't be taken from me. It's not a prop firm account. It's not an investor account. It's my own personal account. I can do whatever the fuck I want. And therefore I can take this huge drawdown and I can come back from it, no problem. I don't care. So over the years, I've been made to believe that a trader needs confidence from his... I don't believe it's like confidence. It's not an adjective. It's not an emotion. It's not a feeling. It's just conviction. Like knowing what to do, as I just explained. Where do you place your stop loss? You should know that. And the only way you know that is through back testing, forward testing, and all that, and seeing what is the best case scenario. So what you need is conviction. It's not about confidence. If you look at a stop loss and you're like, I don't know if I should place my stop loss here or here, it means you don't have conviction. So how do you decide what to do? You're deciding what to do based on what your brain tells you to do, not based on what or your emotions, not based on what the numbers tell you to do. So what you need from past data is you need numbers that are generated so you know exactly what you need to be doing. That knowing exactly what you need to be doing will make your life much easier. Because you will not be confused. Should I place my TP here? Should I place my partial here? Should I place... By the way, I was talking, just like an additional point, I was talking about the overtrader like a second ago. And when it comes to the overtrader, guys, like one reason people overtrade as well is because they actively manage every trade that they take. Like trailing their stop loss and following certain price action. I don't do that. Why do I not do that? I'm not saying you will not be profitable doing that. I'm not saying there's no profitable traders doing that. What I'm trying to say is that I don't do that. Why do I not do that? Is because by actively managing my trade and being in front of the charts for a long time, I tend to do weird shit. So how did I solve this? My risk management system is I take a trade, SL, TP, I automate my partial area where it should be either by placing an alert or by dividing my position into two. So for example, if I want to buy 10 lots, I end up buying 5 for one position and 5 for another position. First one, I'll place my TP, let's say at 1 to 3 risk to reward ratio. And for the other 5, I'll place my TP at, let's say, 1 to 1. It's similar to like simulating a partial area, basically. The first trade will end at 1 to 1. The second trade will end at 1 to 3. It's like I took partials at 1 to 1 risk to reward ratio. So therefore, even the way I don't actively manage trades, so I don't sit in front of the charts for a long time. So shouldn't always keep room for error. Sometimes the market changes, it doesn't always give the same outcome, or am I wrong? Jason, you are completely right. The thing is, in his case, where he's talking about, and Jason, we already talked about that, me and you, like the room for error and all that in a trading strategy. Like if he was telling me that he's about to risk 8%, let's say, like his drawdown will be 8%, and let's say a prop firm account gets taken from him at minus 10%, I would tell him not to do it. The reason why I would tell him not to do it is because 8% is very close to 10%. And therefore you can easily take a wrong trade or make a mistake. I usually, for example, allow myself 2 mistakes per month. And therefore I can easily make 2 mistakes, let's say, and lose more than my 8%. And as a result, get that account taken from me. So yes, you should always calculate for a human error. You're not going to be a robot. You're not going to be a complete automated system. You are going to do some mistakes here and there. And therefore, as a result, calculate for that error and be like, okay, if my maximum tolerable drawdown is 10%, then my systematic drawdown shouldn't be 8% because there is a human error and you will get to that 10%. So the systematic drawdown should be like 5%, 6%. So if you make an error, you can get to 7%, 8%, no problem. It's still not very dangerous. So that's for that. Now the undertrader right here, you have losing, winning phase, BE phase, as we just said for the undertrader. The second thing for the undertrader is my system is telling me this, but I feel like X is going to happen. So my system is telling me to buy Bitcoin, but I feel like Bitcoin is going to go down. This is another problem for the undertrader. So therefore, what the undertrader does is he looks at this. This is a systematic trade. He decides he will not take it because he feels like Bitcoin is going to go down, not up, and therefore he doesn't take it, and therefore he ends up undertrading by one trade. Now the thing, guys, here's the thing. Feelings and emotions are very unreliable. Why? Because we don't know where those feelings and where those emotions are generated from. Some people like to throw in the word intuition. And always when someone tells me intuition, I'm like, what the fuck is intuition? What do you mean by intuition? How did you get the intuition that Bitcoin is going to go down? Where did you receive that intuition from? And intuition, guys, is simply usually either, let's say, right now I'm going out, I'm with family. Gold just made it above the $3,000 level, for example. All my family are talking about gold making it above the $3,000 per ounce. And therefore everyone is saying, okay, we should go buy gold right now, and all this, like it's finally made it above the $3,000. It looks like it's going to keep going up and all this. Now, they say this in front of me. Let's say I come to the charts the next day and I see a sell on gold. And I feel like gold is going to go up. Now, where did that feeling come from? It didn't come from some secret intuitive knowledge sent to you by the gods. It came to you from your subconscious mind because the conversation that you had yesterday with your family was stored in your subconscious mind. And therefore, as a result, your subconscious mind recalls that event, recalls that conversation, and throws in that piece of information to you. Tells you, no, I feel like gold is going to go up. Don't sell gold. Now, the problem with your brain is that it doesn't consciously tell you why do you feel what you feel. It just tells you the end result. It tells you, I feel like gold is going up, but it doesn't tell you why does it feel this way. And therefore you assume that you're getting some intuitive knowledge from the gods or from your brains, like you're a genius or some shit. But reality is you're not a genius. You get this knowledge or this information from previous conversations you had, from some things being stored in your subconscious mind. This is how you get this information, not from the gods, as I said. And therefore, also, if I wake up right now and I see a Bitcoin buy, and today I'm having a really bad day, my wife told me that I suck in the morning, and therefore as a result I'm having a really bad day. And now I look at Bitcoin and I see a buy on Bitcoin and I'm like, I don't feel like this is going to work out. My intuition is I feel bad about this trade. I'm getting a bad feeling. Where is that bad feeling generated from? Your brain doesn't tell you that it's generated from the fact that you had an argument with your wife in the morning. Your brain doesn't tell you that. What it tells you is, I feel bad. That's it. It's like a fucking kid. I feel bad. That's it. Why? I feel bad. So now you're looking at Bitcoin and you're like, I feel bad. I don't feel like this is going to work. And then you decide you're not going to do it. You don't know why, but subconsciously, it's because you had that argument with your wife in the morning. So that's it when it comes to relying on intuition and all that, and people think that they have some telekinesis ability or they're Spider-Man or some shit, like they sense the market and where it's going to go. No, you don't. You don't. Like this is all the work of the subconscious mind throwing information at you and not explaining it to you. The explanation part is missing, that's it. And therefore, whenever someone looks at a trade and is like, this trade, like my setup is telling me to buy, but I feel like it's not going to work out, that feeling is just your subconscious mind throwing you information based on something that is unrelated to your trading system. Maybe it's an argument with the wife, as I said. Maybe it's someone said something in front of you. So therefore, for the undertrader that relies on his emotion, like I looked at this trade, it's a systematic trade, but I feel like this is not going to work, so I'm not going to do it. This is bad. Because the external, like the argument with the wife, or the conversation that you had with friends or family members, is controlling your trading output, which of course is not a profitable business model. You will fail over time. If the external is controlling your trading output, you will fail over time, 100%. Your system and process should be in control of your trade output, not external conversations and emotions. Okay? Now, of course, guys, sometimes you will feel something and it will turn out to be correct. And you will think that your feeling is correct because you felt it. And you were correct. Like you want to take a trade and your feelings are like, this won't work out. But you're like, you know what? I will force myself. Roy told me in this webinar that I have to force it because I shouldn't be relying on feelings. And you take it and your feelings turns out to be correct. And you're like, fuck. I'm just a genius. I shouldn't have listened to Roy. I have Spider-Man sensations. Reality is, of course, some of the times your feelings are going to be correct. If your feelings turn out to be correct, fuck your feelings. Go look for a technical reason as to why that trade failed. Find it and start implementing it in your trading system. It doesn't matter how you feel. You're not, even if your feelings turned out to be correct, it doesn't mean that you were right. You have this old cringy saying, even a broken clock is right twice a day. So even if your feelings are correct here and there, that doesn't mean that you have some telekinesis abilities. Go to the charts. If you feel like, okay, you know what, this trade maybe won't work out because there's a trend line here, whatever, the market can come back and take out this liquidity or whatever it is, and you turn out to be correct and the market does come down and take out this liquidity, go evaluate the technical reason. If it's the trend line, if that's what you think is the reason as to why you failed, go and test it. Take 100 trades with it. Find all the trades in which there was a trend line right before your entry and see if that trade would have failed the majority of the times or would have worked the majority of the times. And if it would have failed the majority of the times, then you can start saying, okay, when there's a trend line right below my entry, I am not going to take that trade. Okay? That's how you think about it, not based on feelings. And if you were wrong and you test it, and in your test, no, you're profitable even when there's a trend line right below your trade, you're like, I was wrong, my feelings are wrong, I shouldn't listen to them, Roy is a genius, he's correct, and therefore I shouldn't listen to my feelings, I should rely on my tests. Okay, guys, that's what you should rely on. That's it. Any questions? I'll take a few final questions because I need to leave. How to be aware of your feelings when trading. Sometimes I realize after a bad trade or more that I was feeling bad about myself or wanting to get back last day losses or wanting to get back last day losses or wanting to get a result to reach X amount on my account, but can't seem to know in the moment of trading. You know, that's a very good question. The thing is, reality is, Manuel, that you don't need to know. That's it. Like, you're trying to understand your emotions as you're trading. The thing is, if you just follow systematic processes, if your systematic processes are defined to what they, for example, right now we're speaking about feelings here, and someone who feels bad or good about a certain trade or whatever it is. Let's say I tell you, or through my tests, I show you and I prove to you that through my test, when there is four, and this is something that I noticed, when there's 4 bullish candlesticks in a row on the daily time frame, so I execute my trades on the 30 minutes time frame. When there's 4 bullish candlesticks on the daily time frame in a row, and I go on the 5th candlestick right here to trade, and I find, let's say I am bearish, I find a sell setup, that sell setup in these conditions doesn't seem to work. It won't work. So now I know this. Now I have this piece of information. It is written on a list in front of me as I'm about to start my trading session. Okay, so I start my trading session, I look at the list, I'm like, okay, if there's 4 bullish candlesticks, that the setup that you will take, the sell setup that you will take will fail. I look at the paper and I know this. Now I look at the charts and I see 4 bullish candlesticks and I see a sell setup. Regardless of how I feel, Manuel, I will not take it. So I don't need to know how I feel because it doesn't fucking matter. It is insignificant. Oh, I feel like I want to make my profits back. But guess what? This is on a list in front of me and it is telling me that when there's 4 bullish candlesticks, I shouldn't trade. Those setups tend to fail a lot more than they work. And therefore, I shouldn't be trading. Done. Regardless of how I feel. So you don't need to evaluate how you feel. You don't need to evaluate your emotions. I feel like I want to make my money back. But this is the setup presented to me. But I really feel like I want to make my money back. Okay, so what? What's the solution now? Do I take this trade or do I not take it? I don't, regardless of how I feel. Now, the problem is you're saying I take the trade and then later on I realize that it was an emotional mistake or whatever it might be. Now, my point is if that trade is invalid, regardless of how you feel, why would you take it? That's the thing. Like if you have, as I said, conviction, like data, you know exactly what works and what doesn't work, then there is no room for confusion. Okay, the market, I took a trade right here. As I said, I gave this example 100 times already now. But the market right here is coming back to my stop loss, to my first stop loss. Why would I increase my stop loss here if I know for sure through my data that over time this is more profitable than this right here? This is more profitable. So regardless of how I feel, now if I increase it and then I'm like, oh my God, I just wanted to make my money back. I want to make my money back. Okay, is the best course of action to increase my stop loss? No, this is more profitable than this. I want to make my money back. How do I make it back? By listening to my numbers. So, Manuel, the thing that I'm trying to say here is, you want to make your money back. I want to make my money back too when I lose. We all want to make our money back. It is not something bad to feel like. I feel like I want to make some losses back. Who told you that's the wrong feeling? Who told you that's a negative emotion? When I lose, I want to make my money back. You want to make your money back. The thing is, you try to make your money back in the wrong ways because you're confused and you don't know what works and what doesn't work. Now, when I try to make my money back, I try to make my money back in ways that I know for sure will work over time. That's the only difference. That's it. But we all want to make our money back. Now, what is the best way to start Prop or a small personal account? I feel Prop firms add unnecessary psychological pressure on that on the trader. Like start with us. If you feel better starting a small personal account. I mean, if you're just starting right now, either ways, there's no point in jumping in prop firms. Like, there's no point in if you're not consistently profitable for like 6-7 months, let's say, then there's no reason for you to take a prop firm challenge. You're just wasting money at this point. So yes, start with a small personal account, build your profitability for some time, build that confidence, and then jump otherwise. How do you journal your trades? I believe this is like a long thing. Like this is not a few minutes answer. So we will talk about this in a later class on Discord. How can I learn from you on one-on-one and how much it costs? Just apply. There's, I think, a link. Or, Amal, I think I know you. Just text me. Okay? That's it. You can send me a message right now privately on Discord if you don't have my number. Okay? Or you can go to my Instagram and there's the contact me button. And then there's my number there, my WhatsApp number. You can text me there. I have found something similar to for my system. I have tested it. I don't know what talking about. How to build a strategy from scratch. Can you make a detailed video on that if possible? How to build a strategy from scratch. Okay, yes, we will create a class about this as well. All right? And Nicholas, I will go ahead and check your message, even though I don't know what number you would have messaged me from, but I will find your message and answer. So, or if it's a question, I will maybe create a class about it. So, by the way, guys, like I want to create classes, but I want to create classes that are beneficial for you guys. I don't want to just bring in any topic that I want to speak about because maybe I will speak about something that maybe you don't really need at this point in your trading career. So feel free to always have conversations in the Discord so I can watch and see what you guys are struggling with and all that. So I can create classes about what you guys are struggling with. All right. So we can talk about it. Now I'll talk to you guys again next week. Hopefully. Goodbye, guys. See you soon. Goodbye.